Okay, so here's a shout out to Steve here at the very top. Steve, I put two more video replies to you here below your comment. They were not for you. They went to go somewhere else, but every time I put it on the other person's comment, it's showing on your comment. I guess YouTube just loves having fun with me. So I'm posting this video for you, and I'll go about it this way. Guys, we're going to click his link. He sent this to me 3 days ago. As you can see at the top there. Sorry, I can't magnify it anymore. It just refreshes the page. It's going to be Allyn Kilsheimer. Kilsheimer, is that his name? Stating that he does not believe the building has any subsidence issues. 90% confidence. You know that's the way I talk, guys, about confidence levels. About, 80%, 99%. If you look at my videos, you know that. Apparently, Allyn Kilsheimer does the same thing now. Although I haven't found him saying it before. Seems like a little bit of my personality is rubbing off on my buddy here. What do you guys think? Can you find somewhere else where he said that? Incidentally, I did reach out to him. So I'm waiting for a reach back. Okay, let's see what happens with that.
Investigation into the Surfside building collapse. The town is spending millions of dollars trying to get to the bottom of what caused it.
And while it's not complete, new information shared at last night's Surfside Commission meeting showed...
So last night's Surfside Commission meeting. So if we go to the date on this, it's published 12 days ago. So that would be 13 days ago. Let's see what he says.
Some light into possible new findings. CBS 4's Joe Gorcho is in Surfside tonight with more.
We're 90% sure that the geological conditions didn't contribute to the collapse of Champlain.
Well, there's a date right there, January 10th. He said 90% sure that the geological conditions did not contribute to the
South.
Surfside's hired forensic.
Well, we know that that's in contrary to the World Economic Forum statement. So Allyn may just have bought himself a retirement package. I'm having a little fun, but not really. They come out, they just cancel stuff.
Engineer Allyn Kilsheimer updated the town on his findings, believing the ground was not a root cause of the collapse. His investigation, though, reveals problems with the original design of the building more than 40 years ago.
We also know that there were design mistakes in those drawings based on the building code that the building was designed for in the first place.
So let me ask you guys this. Now, he never had so much ideas, right? So, now, who was the first one to say column offset issues? Publicly. Column offset issues. Thank you. And talking about that, quite a few people talked about the BMAs, but they were removed. They were removed per the engineer, so they're fair game once the engineer removed them. But violating the code with the offset issues, that's not fair game prescriptive, if you guys can call it, think of it, it would be prescriptive. And that's not fair game under ACI, which they said they would follow ACI guidelines. So follow them. So following ACI, this would have been a deviation from there, and they were no longer following ACI. We don't know. I do not know that he's going to point out column offset issues, or is he just going to go with the BMA? Beam A, if you guys want to get a little sensitive about it, but I keep telling you there is no beam. This is not the same. This is a post-tension member. It is by NIST. You guys can do some research, or you can go back and find my video where I already did the research for you and showed you that it's a NIST collaboration in the 80s, early 80s, dealing with BMA and post-tension members. Part of the specifications in the drawings, the 1980 drawings, does reference post-tensioning members. Only post-tensioning members in the entire structure that I could find would have been this BMA, which some people get upset and say it's beam type A. Yeah, okay, whatever. and then tell me where the post-tensioning goes in the structure, because it's mentioned in the specifications. Again, I find it there. Let's clean this up and let's listen to the rest of what he says.
Leaders tell us the same group that designed Champlain Towers South was also responsible for several other condo buildings.
All right, so let's back that up. Let's hear it. Let's get a refresher on that.
CBS 4's Joe Gorcho is in Surfside tonight with more.
We're 90% sure that the geological conditions didn't contribute to the collapse of Champlain South.
Surfside's
So under my video from 9 months ago, Champlain Towers collapse revealed World Economic Forum subsidence initial support findings. And this is the video I share. Make sure I'm recording, yeah. The video I shared that 9 months ago.
Water go that they just pumped out. It goes back in the ground, of course, right there. When they pump it out, it goes right back in the ground like... No, that water they just...
Let's see if I can find it.
Now...
Okay, here we are. The reason this world flooding is something called subsidence. Listen.
And they don't say the reason could be, the reason might be. They give a conclusive file. The reason is, singular, is something called subsidence. But it's weird the way they word it. You know, something called subsidence. The reason is subsidence. They don't have to use the word something called. That's humoring you idiots out there. You know, we're going to call it, it's something called, you know, Pillsbury Doughboy, whatever. All right, so here we go. It happens when land settles and compacts due to people pumping water from the ground. What the fuck? They're pumping water from the ground. So they're creating these voids, and so they're pumping water from the ground. Okay, so they're dewatering. So they have the one building that's of argument with this, and that's in California. Now, displacement is an issue. You know, water is, for the most part, non-compressible. It does have some air in it. So at that point, there is some compressibility of water, no matter what Pascal says. There is some air in water content. So it does, it's not, it has a value in it. Okay, but water is not compressible once it's been compressed. That means you've also compressed the air and you're done. Because the air molecules, as you're trying to compress, are also pushing against the water molecules, which are not compressible. So it's like a catch-22 of my statement there. Once you compress it, you're there. In other words, we're at sea level. If you're at sea level, you have the max amount of pressure on you that you're going to get from the air pressure. And as you change, your air pressure changes as you go different elevations. But you've already maxed out, so you don't have to worry about more air pressure stacking on top.
Here we go.
Subsidence can cause building collapses. What the hell?
This is World Economic Forum.
And here we go. Can cause building collapse. Well, we know that. Here we go. Pause. Such as the condo collapse in Surfside, Florida, which killed 98 people in 20.
All right. So the World Economic Forum is already showing their agenda and stating what they want NIST to state and everything else. So my man Allyn Kilsheimer there clearly is not part of the World Economic Forum, because the World Economic, he didn't get the message from the World Economic Forum that this needs to be subsidence. This is their page. You guys can go find it. I don't know what date it is. You can find it. And I guess you can look at the title and search. But you can also find it on my page, the video there. So, that was how many months ago that I put that up? That was 9 months ago. Allyn Kilsheimer takes 9 months later to say it's not subsidence. I said it before that even. Before this one even. So in this video I posted 6 months ago, I stated that the Champlain Tower subsidence engineers images, we dive into $1 billion refund if true. Remember, if they say it's subsidence, this is just a natural occurrence, right? An act of God, as the the first mayor stated it was. In that case, there's $1 billion refund need to be given back to the insurance companies, because this was just an act of God. All right, this is not something that was negligent of any contractor. Okay, but this video here I dive in showing you I show no subsidence there. No evidence of subsidence, and it would be significant. It would be tilting, rotation, a whole bunch of stuff. It could be very small also, but that's a long theoretical video I did requiring one to settle just a touch. So now to go back 2 months ago, and I did a video said Champlain Towers load testing columns the better way versus the NIST pile driving technique. I believe this was, if you find this video, this is Allyn's testing, or someone.
Here is I'm going to play this video.
It is.
And it's
and this is load plate testing, or dead load testing. This is the proper way to see if you're going to get some subsidence. I'm not sure if this was Allyn or not, or he just happened to be there at the job site at this testing time. Remember, the courts ordered some testing, and they had some pretty competent thinking engineers there. I saw a lot of their testing. It's so many pages I could do a video on it, but that dive would just be, I mean, who would I be speaking to on that one? That's a tough one. But they're diving into a lot of it. Let's see if I can get you. Yeah, so I talk in this video. You can just find this video title, what's titled here, and you can, if you want to look into it. But I believe this is the proper testing, and for some reason I thought Allyn was here. As you guys know, I call him Papa Smurf because he reminds me of Papa.
over to your, which backfires against you, because now
There we go.
it won't let me scrub like that.
Right. It says I give up. Okay, yeah, that's my equilibrium theory. All right, not that I give up. It's a tug of war.
The shank.
So in this video, this video title here, Champlain Towers collapsed piles were not driven as per plans. That's another deviation that I point out. And I did that 2 months ago.
This is money paid for X.
Okay. Here's
I will tell you that I am getting the
pause it and bring it back in. Okay, here we go. Come on. So
this is Allyn Kilsheimer 4 years ago. You know how much I love finite element programs. Well, it appears I'm as old as Allyn Kilsheimer, because Papa Smurf has the same position. Here we go. Listen.
When you're designing a building, the engineers who design it, in the old days when I was started, we did calculations with our brain.
The brain.
And now everybody uses the computer as their brain. And the garbage in equals garbage out scenario still holds. And I can't tell you why the designers missed these two major things that I've been talking about. We just know they missed it.
Okay, so there you go. And in this case, I believe that an engineer missed the rectangular array, that the parking garage structure was just set up, and he was like, it's good enough, the spans, etc. You'd have to go back to
the rectangular array. I talk about this again many times, but this is 6 months ago. This was also an old video of Allyn Kilsheimer's 4 years prior, or whatever it was. But like he says, his opinion on those damn finite element programs, garbage in, garbage out. You screw some data up, putting it in, you'll get garbage out. You'll get okay. You'll get a pass. In reality, you shouldn't be getting a pass you should realize that you're no longer in a triangular array. If you saw a few engineers and on YouTube put their calculations into their finite element programs. One was from England, one was from Washington, and I think Josh claimed he put it in his program also. When they did this, none of them came back with the simple loading, the violation of rectangular array system out of bounds. Not one. Now, I did, of course. All right. So using your brain is much better than using a finite element program. I'm telling you, it really is. But you have to have a brain that's willing to focus and be crazy. Okay. I went to the doctor's today. I'm trying to get this fan out of my ear. They can't figure out how I got it in, but they're trying to work to get it out. They calling in specialists. What do you guys think? Let me get back to the content. All right, back to the video content. I want you to look at this video I put up 10 months ago to help you understand this again. Once you keep understanding what you're looking at, all these stripped down columns with no material sticking out from them, they do not show as it shows or identifies the critical shear zone as lacking. Sorry about the noise there. Lacking. This is a good critical shear zone. Tributary zone, it sucks. And it's securement to the tributary critical shear zone. But I would need more information down there. Someone asked me, could the shear walls being in different positions save the structure that went down? Well, the second floor in the structure that stayed behind had a waffle slab design. That appears to save the rattling along with the shear wall. Short of that, this is concrete. These columns are concrete and they're getting their bracing this way. I showed in this video here, just a short clip of it. But it's getting its cross bracing, its stability bracing exteriorly now, not per original design. And this is a parking garage that you're looking at in this image here. So I'll end the video with this. I want you to think of these heads and these vehicles again coming onto this parking garage, coming to a stop. How much force, downward force, and how much force did they create on each one of the critical shear zones as they interacted over 40 years? I'm telling you, plate slab construction, I mean, we're saying now 2017 already that they're doing repairs on 2017 buildings. It's not the way to be. You've got to go back to steel. You know, engineers need to let this go. This plate slab construction needs to be shit canned. It's just a matter of all concrete construction is all it is. Plate slab construction is, just think of it first, it's all concrete. That's it. Just all concrete. Then you ask, well, how are we going to hold it together? And just, oh, you know what? You know the steel we use in here to stop for deflection and take the loads? Let's just extend it into the columns. Let's extend it into the columns, and this will be how we'll keep the building together. All right, this is how we'll keep it together. So part of that steel that's out there in the slab area, we'll just continue it on and tie it into the columns, and then that's where we'll get our anchorage, our securement. And we won't, there's no gusset plates like in steel has gusset plates in multiple directions a lot, but no gussets, just pour the concrete. There's no way to increase the securement, like there's no way to increase it with this system unless you add post-tensioning out here and here. All right, post-tensioning here, so this is the dead end, and this is the live end, post-tensioning live end. Now you can create a clamp force inside here that would lock this floor in to the column. Of course, that you got problems with the doing that. You know, most people do. Plate slab construction and post-tensioning relaxes. It's got its own issues and dynamics with it. It can explode some of the concrete, burst it. The profile's got to be just right. It's got its own dynamics. But these plate slab constructions, without minus the post-tensioning, is just using no extra way of increasing the clamp force here. Just lay the slab in there, wait a few days, and remove the slab and go to the next one. It's okay. It's all done by grip force of the reinforcement here and here. Don't worry about it. Some of you might think it goes all the way across, but remember, this is pulling also. So it's got its own little dynamics. It's pulling on in that area compared to this area. Rebar being straight across still has the same dynamics. All right, love you guys. Terminate this video. Bye. I know it's some data to process. Process it, will you?